Uh-oh, we've got some feedback. There we go.
That's me.
Guess what? We are live, everybody. Welcome to Rogues Gallery. We have worked our way through most of our technical difficulties. And, we are happy to be here with you. So thank you for everybody for hanging in and not bailing. It looks like we still have quite a few people in the chat. So
yeah,
that is really good news.
I found it.
We're on in portrait mode.
We are in portrait mode, and that's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
I wonder,
what am I doing?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because I feel like I can.
That's better.
I don't want to do that. How about that?
Better. There you go.
That's kind of cool.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch anything. See, mom and dad leave, and the kids mess up the house, and that's what happens. So. Anyways, so better late than never, and we are off to a late start, obviously. But hello to everybody. Again in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. This for this BSC stand-in version where we are holding down the fort for the BSC for this evening. So excited to jump right in. I think I'm just going to do a broad thank you to everybody in the chat rather than going through name by name. But everybody pipe in. I'm going to ask each of the Jeffs here in the gallery to help me with the chat. This is not my expertise, but we will make our way through it. So, guys, well, first, good evening. So why don't we, our two panelists for this evening, I'm not sure if Ashley's going to be joining us or not. Chris is out of town as well as Eric B. But joining us tonight to my left, I guess on screen, is Jeff Morris. Jeff, how are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
We're here.
Here, right? We did it. We made our way through it. Trials and tribulations. So everything good. So is it about 150 degrees where you are too, like it is up here?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's Satan's ass crack hot.
It really is. Heat index here in the Boston area is 105 tomorrow. So
wow,
that is.
It was 100 and something here today.
We're not used to that, but at any rate, okay. Well, good. Glad you could make it, and thanks for hanging in there. And then in the I don't know if that's the Mike Brady position there at the bottom or not, but Jeff Delaney joining us from the Secret Sanctuary. Mr. Delaney, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you guys. It's very pleasant here, like 75 degrees. Kind of like how you saw it last week.
Pretty sure the thermostat is stuck there, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe so.
For your neck of the woods?
It's a bit of a cliche.
It's awesome. Well, glad you guys could make it, and really thanks to Chris for trusting us with not screwing things up too badly. But anyways, so we're here. Thought we'd cover a couple of things tonight. There's some things happening in the statue collecting world. Probably the most recent that's popped up on everybody's radar, the recent cancellations by Prime One. So thought I'd ask you guys to kind of chime in and give your opinions on that. Ask the chat to chime in, see what they think. Like everything else, it seems that Prime One is laying this at the feet of COVID in terms of why it's happening. But anyways, thought we'd cover off on that. We also had a segment in mind for everybody in the chat that just to try and get to know us a bit better, that we would do something interesting that you don't know about each of us that we haven't talked about perhaps in the past. So we'll be doing having a little bit of fun with that tonight. And then we thought we'd open it up for an open Q&A. So this probably won't be a marathon show tonight, but we wanted to jump online and have a chat with you guys. It's been a little bit. So that's what we have in mind. And like I said, we'll go to open Q&A here in a little bit. But first, why don't we tackle the Prime One situation? What do you guys think? Jeff Morris, what do you think?
I think first off, I think they picked a really bad time to do that Ivy. And second of all, they knew that it wasn't selling that well 6 or 7 months ago.
Yep.
I think they just hold on to the money and it sits in their bank account and they're using it till last minute.
Yep. It's funny. I hate to be so cynical, and I like giving not only people but companies the benefit of the doubt. But man, you can't help. I think the same thing. They've got.
My first thought.
I think those dollars add up.
Yep.
All of the down payments and all of the monthly payments that are being made on that statue and
the interest they make on it while it sits in the bank.
Yeah, it's not inconsequential. Prime One's not a huge company, and if you're, I'm sure the money is into 6 figures, and that's meaningful. Operating cash. I don't know, Jeff Delaney, what do you think?
I am surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
This is a crazy business, and you got some high-priced items, and people are having to choose how they're going to spend their money.
Yep.
And I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often with other companies. You don't really see it with Sideshow, but I think Sideshow is often in production so much earlier than other companies that maybe they're already locked in by the time it goes up for pre-order. But yeah, no, I agree with you guys. There's probably some money shifting going on, and that's probably why they delay it. With Ivy, you have the Hush Ivy, which was a beautiful piece. A lot of people bought it.
Yep.
And maybe they didn't need this one. They were very happy with the Hush piece. So I'm sure some people are very disappointed, but I'm surprised it doesn't happen a lot more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some other stuff that may be circling the drain as we speak, because I hate to say it, but it wouldn't surprise me to see several more.
Yeah, if customers, you're touching on something that's a big concern for me, and I think Chris's video that he did, I thought was a very fair and objective kind of assessment of the situation, and I agreed with pretty much everything he said, I think, but it touches on a point that really rings important to me for this, and that is precedent. If these statue companies learn that this is a move that they can make, and I think it's bad for all of us. It ties up funds. We all try to be, responsible collectors. This is a hobby for us. This isn't any of our job. And, so when you spend the kind of money that these statues cost, you're tying up collecting funds, and probably a significant percentage, for each one. And, a lot of us only buy, a handful of statues a year. And I just think this is a dangerous precedent. They already, we're already seeing the wait times on statues, kind of extend longer and longer out, where it used to be, 6 months to a year, closer to a year. And now we're seeing, 2-year wait times are not uncommon, even longer. And so now when you kind of factor this piece in, it starts to feel, I don't know about you guys, but it starts to feel like almost like a gamble. Like, you're giving, a down payment on something that you hope comes in. And the hard part of that for me is that if I've got money tied up, I've got 2 Prime One pieces right now on PO and an XM piece. And, I don't collect in volume, so to speak, but those pieces are expensive. And if I didn't have the money tied up in those, I'd be looking towards something different, for my collection. So that's the most troubling piece for me. Is like, can I trust them to come out with the other pieces they say?
Right.
I think this is a bad move for them,
I think they're the same thing on their prices.
Yeah.
I think they're just pushing to see where it breaks.
Yeah.
Because I really think that Val Kilmer Batman was so overpriced.
Yep.
By $500 or $600.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they continue to kind of push the boundaries. I mean, I haven't been collecting all that long. I mean, I've been kind of into this stuff my whole life, like a lot of us, but I've been collecting fairly seriously since probably, I don't know, 2010 or something, 2011. And this collecting universe has changed materially in the past 5 years. And it just seems like the statue companies continue to push their boundaries. They push on pricing. They push on how long they can get away with shipping a statue. They shipping price, and they just keep pushing against all the edges. And I just wonder, what's it going to take? Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd definitely not be ordering a Prime One statue right now. I just,
not unless it's something
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the Sanctuary is pretty much overtaken by Sideshow at this point.
Yeah.
I have very little. I mean, I've got 4 XM pieces and 1 Prime 1 piece.
Yep.
Other than that, it's all Sideshow and Tweeterhead.
Yep.
And I think that Sideshow has reached that point. I think they were pushing prices on premium formats higher.
Yep.
We saw a big price on Mr. Freeze. Kind of in that time period when those were coming out, they were inching towards 700 or more. And then in the past 6 months, they have reversed big time. Whereas everything seems to be just under 600 or at 600 with no exclusive. So
right.
They seem to have a new strategy of trying to limit costs by less elaborate bases and no exclusive, and let's keep it under 600.
Yep. I think that's right on, Jeff. I think they've, Sideshow, it seems, has intelligently pushed on the borders. You can see the business reasons why they've done the things that, well, at least most of the things they've done. There are some that I would challenge, but it seems like others are making some serious errors. And unfortunately, I think Prime 1 is the worst offender. I mean, I am, as Chris said in his video, I'm a huge fan of Prime 1. I have many of their statues here in my collection. I love their stuff. As I said, I've got a couple more on order. There's a trust inherent in the relationship between a customer and these companies based on the model, the buying model. And it just seems like this is a breach of trust, and it seems to be becoming a pattern.
Yeah.
Chris talked about that Talon piece, the Prime 1 Talon piece in his video. I don't think that thing's going to see the light of day. I'd be shocked.
Right.
If Ivy can't make it, I don't see Talon making it. It's funny, one of our collector friends, I don't know if you guys know Junior, a collector out of the Florida area. Junior, I think it was about a year and a half ago where Junior kind of put a stake in the ground. He said, I am not POing anything else. I am only buying once a piece is available to ship.
Cool.
And I kind of thought, you know what? That's, we all get so excited when they announce the PO that we want to put our money down and stake our claim. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of wisdom in Junior's approach there.
Yeah.
I started that on Hot Toys because of the same reasons.
Yeah.
Because like the in-game Captain America figure. Yeah. They still haven't shipped all of those that have been pre-ordered.
Yes.
And that movie, were 2 years? And it came up to order before when the movie was new.
Yep.
And that was the thing because, when you start, if you put a deposit down and if you're making payments on it, then, all this money is sitting there for years.
Yep. Exactly. I've got 2 pieces right now that are not only PO'd, 2 of the 3 kind of larger ones that are paid in full. And I'm kind of kicking myself. I would not do that again under any circumstances. And it just, it felt good to get them paid. And it, okay, I don't have that debt sitting out there. I just can accept this thing when it comes and, world is good. But yeah, that's my money sitting out there. And I'm a little concerned. One of them is Prime 1 Batcave Hush Batcave edition. And it seems like that piece is starting to ship, but
right.
I don't know.
Are there any North American collectors that have received that yet?
I have not seen one. If there is, I wonder if anybody in the chat could chime in on that, because Jeff, it could be that I just haven't seen it, but
right.
I haven't seen anybody in any of the groups popping in. I think I've seen 2 maybe Asian collectors that have posted.
Yeah.
I think the photos I've seen have all been out of the country.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't.
And you ordered that from Prime 1? Or such?
Yeah. No. That was from Prime 1. Yeah. That was from Prime 1. Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe it's shipping from Sideshow yet. But
okay.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of people here, you can see Mike Stainbrook saying he's leaning toward just buying what's already in the shop, And I think that's probably wise. If you can have that kind of collecting discipline, that that it's probably wise. So.
And Sideshow is kind of enabling that with the no exclusive thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's Ryan Eckold saying, I'm done with payment plans. I think so too. I mean, if they don't have a commitment on their end to deliver the product by a certain time, so I'm making a decision that is, look, I'm going to commit to the payment plan because they've committed to shipping the product within a certain time frame, even if it's a quarter, even if they say, first quarter of 2022, I'd be okay with that. A month target would be great, but okay, so giving shipping challenges and all those other things, fine. Okay, a quarter. But man, they have no problem slipping any dates. And
moving them.
Yeah, and moving them
out.
Yeah. And Chris was saying it. I mean, I had kind of bowed out of the Arkham City Ivy, the Prime 1 piece a while back. So I wasn't following it that closely. But the things that he was saying in his video this morning about, apparently they said, Sideshow said it was about to ship. Then they kind of delayed it again. And boy, that just smells like kicking the can down the road. Keep the money as long as we can and cancel when we have to. So,
is that the comic book one?
That is the Arkham City Ivy.
Ivy, gotcha.
The one that had the jacket on with the gimpy foot.
That's the best description I've heard yet. The gimpy foot.
It looked weird. I'm sorry.
The very reason I bowed out, and I said it before a show, and I'll say it again. I challenge anyone to put their foot, stand in that position, and tell me that's a natural stance. It just isn't. Oh my God, it bugs me.
So you killed the piece. It was you.
I was certainly a vocal proponent of that issue.
Kiss of death.
Kiss of death. Exactly.
Box office poison.
That's exactly right. So yeah. Let's see, what else do we got? I'm just kind of looking in the chat, and man, everybody's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Be smart and okay to set aside for release. Yeah, I mean, people saying, and I actually at one point had taken the approach that Fatale is saying here, and that is, I used to kind of create my own, like I'd put aside a monthly amount into a little account just to kind of, for these purchases, and it helped me kind of manage things. And then I started doing it when the statue company started offering payment plans, because they didn't always.
Yeah.
If it's a no interest payment plan and against a certain target for delivery, that was fine. I had no problem. So I kind of switched to doing that.
Right.
But yeah, now they're kind of taking advantage of us, I'm afraid. So
I think so. Some of them anyway.
Yeah, they're getting a free.
Yeah, and it's not a blanket. It's not the industry. It just seems like it's going that way a little bit. So
yeah,
I don't know, Jeff. Jeff Delaney, do you have any pieces on pre-order with XM, or any XM pieces, I should say, on pre-order right now?
Not on pre-order now, but I'm very curious what their DC quarter scale pieces are going to be like.
Yeah.
They could easily
do their new Captain America. That's a gorgeous piece.
I like that piece.
Yeah.
I considered it for a while, but I think I like the new Sideshow one better, so I'm okay with not having ordered it.
Yeah. That new Sideshow one's tough to beat for a comic book Captain America. That thing is outstanding.
Yeah, and that new Black Widow is going to look really good with it, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've sufficiently beat up Prime 1 this evening. Give them their comeuppance, so to speak.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's move the conversation along, and I'd love to hear from the chat with this topic as well. And that is, and I didn't mention it at the beginning of the show, so I apologize. But what any new pickups or POs for you guys this past couple of weeks? You guys picking up anything interesting?
Well, people have been asking about this guy. I've noticed in the chat.
A lot of people. He's in.
He arrived yesterday. I haven't had a chance to review him yet. This is a really busy week for me, so it's probably going to be the weekend before I get to it. But I'm very happy with him. He's pretty awesome.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
What is he? Is size-wise? Is he what you expected, Jeff? Or
well, I've been kind of prepped. I watched other people's videos, and they were saying, "Boy, he's big."
Yeah.
And he does look big. I measured him, and if you equate it to quarter scale, he's 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
So it's appropriate.
That's good. Yeah.
But it does have a large presence. That's for sure. The base is wide. It's like a 15-inch base or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, he's pretty darn cool. I'm really happy with him.
And what about the finishes on him and everything?
Did you see George's review?
I have not watched it yet. No.
So George gets into the real detail of what's canon, what's correct, and he did a really good job of detailing the mistakes they made. And
Okay.
there's 5 or 6 of them, and then he considers it a QC issue that the finish on the breastplate has kind of some texture to it, that it should have been flat as possible and shiny.
Right.
So I'm not going to go into that much detail in my review because frankly, it doesn't bother me that much. And I'd just frankly be stealing from him.
Yeah.
But no, overall, he looks fantastic. I mean, this is one of the only TV shows that we watch as a family.
Right.
And my wife and son both really like it. And I really like it. So I'm not going to nitpick it too much.
But you're happy with it. That's
yeah.
a big thing. And I mean, it looked like it from his video, it looked really good.
Yeah. And he said,
I don't know it well enough to be that super critical about it.
Right. But even though he nitpicked it, he loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they only made 750 of them, which I think is really low.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For that character, that's extremely low.
Yeah. Sideshow's making 10 times as many of their version.
Don't you think that's probably because they weren't able to really market it? And when they started, it got pulled immediately?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yes, I do. So, but that's great for the people who were able to snag one. It's surprising to me that it was available through other distributors as long as it was.
Yep.
It's finally gone from Pop Culture, but I've heard that another Australian distributor still has some, so you might still be able to get it. But yeah, I'm super, super happy. So I got that, and I ended up pre-ordering, I think I told you guys, that XM Legendary Beast.
Yes.
Thor.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
And I think that's coming next month. That's on a boat right now on its way.
Yep.
And I finally pre-ordered the Sideshow Deadpool.
Oh, wow.
So I ordered that because it said it was coming in August. They had narrowed the window down to August.
Uh-huh.
So in early August, I pre-ordered it. And of course, now it's gone to September, October. So I don't know when that's coming, but I just find that pose really dynamic.
Yep.
Like other people, I do wish that the scooter was a different color than his costume. But the fact that they're both red is correct in both the comics and the movies.
I have a feeling that using similar colors for the bike and him, I have a feeling that's not going to be as much an issue in person.
Maybe so.
That's my guess.
Maybe so.
Yeah, it won't be as much. So,
but especially
it's always
from
hard
the
to tell
side
the
view,
colors.
it just looks so dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. What about you, Jeff Morris? What do you got going on? Anything?
The only thing I have ordered is the Heath Ledger Joker, the Prime 1.
The Prime 1. Yep.
And the bust.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it.
Awesome. Well, I like you. That's probably my most recent order. And for some of the reasons we were talking about a little while ago, I kind of haven't PO'd anything else. I'm waiting on a few pieces to come in, some fairly high ticket pieces. So looking to clear those and get them in the collection before I just continue to order other stuff. But this past week, I had the opportunity to be in Mr. Sanctuary's neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. And at his urging, my wife and I had the opportunity to visit Disneyland in California, more specifically Galaxy's Edge, which super excited to go to Galaxy's Edge. I've been dying to go there. My wife's been dying to go there. And I got to tell you guys, does not disappoint. Holy cow. There's only a few rides there at the moment. That's okay. They were great. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone because I know Eric B actually is there as we speak.
Yeah.
But it is just worth every penny. The one thing I will say, it is like you are immersed. You feel like you're in a Star Wars film.
Totally.
The immersion in the Star Wars environment is just awesome. And so one of my pickups was this.
Nice.
I did the lightsaber workshop. And this, which I couldn't resist, there's a Rancor tooth on the end. And I did it doesn't look blue on the screen, but I did the Ben Kenobi blade.
Wow.
But for anyone that's visiting Galaxy's Edge, I highly, highly recommend the lightsaber build. It is worth every penny. It's awesome. And let me tell you, this thing weighs, it's got to weigh at least 5 to 6, 7 pounds.
Wow.
It is.
What is the hilt made out of?
It's metal.
Oh.
It's metal. So, I mean, obviously this Rancor tooth isn't.
Yeah, that'd do it.
But
I wasn't sure it would be just a solid resin or plastic or something, but
it is metal. And so you kind of, this thing comes apart in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7 parts to the hilt. And you kind of select based on the style saber you want to do. They had kind of the light and the dark side, and then they had this kind of style. Oh God, the name is now slipping my. I can't remember what they called this style, but it's kind of like an Origins style. And you get to select pieces from each style and put them together, and then you put the blade in at the end, and it's kind of a whole. It's a
very
whole
cool.
There's a host for the thing. You're kind of standing around this table. It feels very ceremonial. It really is cool. Again, they're kind of immersing you in that world. So Elemental. My wife just in the other room. It's Elemental is.
I've watched some of the videos of people doing that when it first opened, and it's very. Yep. I mean, they have got it. It's everything you would want it to be. Is how I felt, and that made me really envious.
Exactly.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, you definitely have to. I mean, they're a little bit on the pricey side, but they're not it's not crazy,
Okay.
So
I've got the old. I think it's EFX. No, what was it?
Did they do the EF? I see them at the cons. The lightsaber booth set up, and they
are older. Let me look real quick. But the Darth Maul, both.
Oh yeah,
you had to buy it in 2 pieces.
Yep.
But it's made out of metal.
Yeah, this thing is like it's all cast. It's highly textured, and it's really nice. It all screws together, so these pieces either lock in place or screw together. Wow. So it's and then I got because I remember George talking about it on his channel. I got the Kyber crystal. I got the Yoda Kyber crystal to swap out, and so you get. It's really a great experience. So
that's cool. That's the best in home defense right there.
So exactly right. If nothing else, a good flashlight. So
awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And then the other thing I purchased separately was this really cool metal stand. So you put the hilt on here, and
cool.
Yeah, they do a great job. So that's my pickup. So let's see. Edwin is saying the original lightsabers were by Master Replicas.
That's it. Master
Bingo. Thank you.
I was looking on eBay.
Here you go.
They used to have them, Books A Million stores used to have those. They would have like a floor, or the ones here.
Yeah.
And, for $125, $150. And really cool. And it makes the sound and lights up. And
yeah, it's really cool. The Kyber crystal piece of this one, where you can swap out and make the blade different colors. There's like 8 different colors, maybe. It's really kind of neat the way they do it. They have, there's one that's some are harder to find in the shops there than others. I know there's a black crystal, I think, that you can get that's particularly hard to find, and so you can take this apart, swap that out, and it's really cool. Oh, and it comes with a big case, a big nylon sleeve with with a strap, so you can kind of shoulder harness the thing. So really well done, and $2 1/4.
Okay.
So I found it to be well worth it. I wasn't sure quite what to expect, but it was awesome.
That is awesome.
So
And that is a money-making machine.
oh my God, they are printing money there.
Yeah.
They
started selling the new annual passes today.
Oh yeah, they went on sale today, huh?
Yeah.
So
we're gonna wait a little while, but eventually we'll probably get them.
So what? I wonder what are they doing? I saw the because I didn't have the Disneyland app, of course, on my phone, and I put that on my phone. You have to do that to book Rise of the Resistance, which thanks to you, Jeff, we were able to get on.
Cool.
But there's what are they calling it? They had something replacing FastPass.
Yeah, that's
Genie,
yeah.
Genie Plus or something.
You have to pay for it every day.
Oh,
it's like $20, and that replaces FastPass.
How is that compare price wise with FastPass?
FastPass was free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can tell you the FastPass equivalent at Universal Studios is not free.
No.
Oh yeah. That's true.
I did that before, and did the one for the Halloween thing. Is the only way you can get through to see all of the haunted houses, because they're so huge.
My wife and I did it. God, I think it was 2008, maybe 2009, and we at Florida, and it was awesome. We had the best time. We were just talking about my kids are a little bit older now. They're 22 and 24, and we're talking about maybe doing a trip down to Florida later this year to do that if it's open. Hopefully, it will be.
For the Halloween thing,
yeah,
they're doing it because they just are kind of announcing maybe in the last month the final houses.
I hope you're
good ones.
I hope you're right. I hope we don't get hit by the pandemic again. Oh my goodness, who do we have live and in person?
Wow!
Hey guys. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm at the airport of all things, but I wanted to say hello.
Awesome. Yeah, we can.
We can hear you.
That's awesome. So glad you were able to get the show going, guys. That's all. You guys were rocking.
We got it going. Well, we didn't completely break it.
I don't know. I'm gonna. Sorry, they keep announcing nonstop. Hold on.
Sure.
All right, there we go. I think I might be able to hear you guys now. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
No worries. How was your flight?
First one's good. It was a little bumpy, but now we're getting ready for the second one. So, so again, I apologize for being gone. I know I put you guys in a panic.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out some way to.
Hey, we almost went Facebook Live.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Well, my wife, as soon as we landed, she got a message from Jeff. So I'm like, oh, I better figure out what's going on.
She's got one sitting there in her Facebook inbox for me as well. So
there you go.
I was thinking, well, somebody said message Ledger. I was like,
yeah, Jeff.
I'll try Mrs. BSC.
Yeah, that's right.
So I had to search through and find her, and then I thought maybe she knows if you're off the phone or what's going on, or. So.
Well, I'm glad you did, because that's who saw it. I don't know if I would have seen it in time, so I'm glad that you said it. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, my other flight's getting ready to board. I just wanted to say hello. Hope everybody's doing great, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Safe travels.
See you later. Bye-bye, guys.
See ya.
Oh, that was cool. Hear from the BSC.
You bet.
Awesome.
You never know who's going to pop in.
You never know who's going to.
Right.
Hey, speaking of that.
Playhouse.
Speaking of you never know who's going to pop in, I've got to take a moment and thank everybody for the birthday wishes today. This is a good opportunity to do that. Tons of people in the Facebook groups, not only the VSC, but some of the other collecting groups. You guys in the chat tonight, all the birthday wishes. It's really humbling. Really makes a guy feel good. So sincerely appreciate all of the birthday wishes. really means a lot. So I want to leave that there. But in terms of unexpected, I had a wonderful birthday message from Daniel Bell. So that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That was where he sent me a message, and I thought that was really cool. So
that's awesome.
Well, I don't know jack about Carnage, but I really like that piece. And
yep, I'm with you, man.
It looks. I thought, it's such a cool looking character.
His work is just incredible, and it's even better in person. Actually, that brings another good thing to mind. So as I think a lot of you in the chat probably know, and certainly on the Facebook groups and so forth, I had the opportunity to visit the sanctuary last week, and Jeff and I spent some time together with our families and had a wonderful afternoon. But seeing Jeff's awesome collection, one of the pieces that I noticed right away was that Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
isn't that gorgeous?
And it is. I mean, I always liked the piece, even in pictures and video. I thought it looked great. I'm not a giant surfer fan, so I wasn't going to have it in my collection, but I always thought it looked great. It is impressive in person. And Jeff, you've got it displayed fairly high.
I do.
In your collection, and he looks intimidating in that pose up high.
Yeah, I agree.
It's bigger than it looks in pictures, at least to me.
Mm-hmm.
The finish is awesome, and the sculpt, of course, is second to none. So absolutely phenomenal piece.
The paint
I hear about people
gorgeous.
chroming it, and I saw Daniel Bell talking about that. He says, you chrome the piece, you lose all the shading.
Yeah.
You lose so many things about the paint job.
Yep.
It really ruins the piece.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with him. I was really impressed by the finish. I think, there's a lot of different silver and chromish finishes in a lot of our statues. And I think that's one where you just got it just right. It's shiny, but it's not. It's silver, but it's chrome. It's kind of at a perfect place. I really, really like it a lot. So
it's like they practiced with Colossus before they did Silver Surfer.
Colossus is awesome too, though. That's another. That one didn't come to mind, but yes, saw him on your shelf, and he's awesome.
A similar color.
Yeah, Silver Surfer is maybe a little bit brighter, but quite similar.
Yeah, but the quality, the finish, and the shading looks similar to me, at least what I'm remembering in my mind. So
yeah, I agree.
And Nova is like one of my favorite exclusives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool exclusive. Yeah. Yep. Agree. Carl's saying he's trying to find the Batman Beyond, and he's tough to find. Yeah, that's a piece I had on PO actually and canceled for space reasons, but that's another one that I kind of regret canceling.
Pretty cool.
That's a beautiful piece.
Yeah. Beautiful piece.
He just nails the anatomy, and the scale, and the head size seems always correct, and he nails the anatomy, and that makes all the difference.
When he posted last week on Facebook all the pieces that he's done so far for Sideshow, it was really remarkable. Number one, how many there were, and number two, what a short period of time he accomplished all of that.
Yep.
It's really amazing. I said, I think on Facebook, I don't think any sculptor has had such an influence in such a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely true. I mean, he's a workhorse, no question. I mean, he's got to spend a lot of time in front of that screen with ZBrush. And if any of you in the chat haven't had the opportunity, or those of you watching this video afterwards, if you haven't had the opportunity to visit Daniel Bell's YouTube channel and his Facebook page, he does tons of presentations of his work and work in progress, and even how-tos. Some of them, he's in Brazil for those, or he works a lot, I think, in Brazil. I don't know how much time he spends in California, but he works from his home in Brazil. And so some of it is in Portuguese, but he does a wonderful job in his YouTube, just kind of sharing his work and what the process is like, and at a very detailed level. So if you enjoy the making of these works of art, I would encourage you to take a look. So
absolutely. He's given back.
Yes, he certainly has. So, well, cool. Why don't we move on to our next topic, which was, and I thought this was a fun one. I don't remember, Jeff Delaney, I think this might be one that you suggested. Things you don't know about the Rogues Gallery. And so
that's loaded.
Thought so too. Who's been arrested? Let's talk about. Yeah, so let's talk about.
We're really close, Tom.
Yeah, let's do one each. And Mr. Delaney, since you were the wonderful offerer of this, why don't we hand it to you to go first?
Okay. About something you don't know about me is that maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I learned that if your parent or grandparent was born in Ireland, you have the right to citizenship. So, so my grandfather was born in Belfast in 1905. And so I got all the documentation, every birth certificate, death certificate, yada, 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 from my grandfather to my mom to me, and sent it off to the embassy, I think, in San Francisco.
Wow.
And I am an Irish citizen.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, I have an Irish passport. I can live anywhere in the European Union as long as I want. I can work. I can probably receive medical benefits if I'm there. But yeah, I have dual citizenship with Ireland.
Wow, that is super cool.
The only negative is, if I had done this before my son William was born, then he could have done it too, because I would have been a citizen when he was born.
Right.
Since I didn't do it until after he was born, he can't do it.
Oh, so he didn't make the cut.
He doesn't make the cut.
Wow.
Well, William is he's an awesome kid, but I'm sure he gave you an earful about that one. Thanks. Yeah.
You probably will one day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Dan?
That's very cool. How about me? Okay, so outside of any kind of police actions, there may be a couple of people that know this, but I am, in addition, I work in marketing in the technology field. That is my full-time gig. But I am also, for my entire life, have been an artist. Oh. And when I was in high school, I went to a private parochial high school. And when I was applying to colleges, I had the help of a very interested guidance counselor who, I was feeling kind of directionless and so forth, as many high school students do. And I had a guidance counselor that took an interest in me and offered to help. And so, without going into all the gory details, make a long story a little shorter, he took my artwork and, unknown to me, submitted it to the University of Southern California. Ah. And I was one of, and this is, now I'm really going to date myself here, guys. This is in 1985. And with his work, I was accepted to the Disney School of Animation at USC. Unfortunately, I did not accept, and I ended up going to school elsewhere, which is a major regret. But I was accepted to the Disney School of Animation. Like I said, they accepted 25 students that year.
Wow.
Yep. So
road not taken.
A road not taken, but yep. I'm an artist, and I still I do artwork in my very little amount of spare time that I have. I do still enjoy artwork. I work in traditional. The best decade is the 80s. I agree. I work in both traditional medium and also work with a Wacom Cintiq on digital medium, which is a 27-inch direct draw pad. As a matter of fact, somebody mentioned in the chat not that long ago when we were talking about Daniel Bell that he was live on his channel right now. You'll see Daniel working on a giant tablet. It thing swivels 360 degrees. That's a Wacom Cintiq. And so I actually have one of those that I use as well frequently.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that is my my little unknown fact. So
wow.
And now, if we dare, Mr. Morris, what do you got?
One thing, Jeff. One thing.
One thing. Oh. I'm trying to think of something that's not incredibly embarrassing.
You were born with 6 toes.
Six.
Yeah.
Not terribly embarrassing.
Yeah.
See, we're all here rooting for embarrassing.
Well, I was in a band briefly in the 80s.
You were in a band.
That's a great one.
That's a really good one.
Tell us more.
It was kind of, well, we were not, we did mostly free things, but one of the people in the band actually somebody that heard us and heard her music got her in contact with Kate Bush. Do you know?
Really?
But I had no talent like that, so it was the 80s. You could kind of coast through if you had good hair. So I had big Duran hair then.
Oh, that's cool. We're going to need photo evidence of that at some point, Jeff.
I had hair extensions for a while too. Y'all seen that picture, I think. It's scary.
It's scary. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, you never know what you're going to hear. We're going to have to force the BSC to answer this question too on the next Rogues Gallery, and Ashley as well. So I haven't seen. Have we seen Ashley in the chat at all tonight? I haven't.
I have not.
I haven't seen her either.
I got the chat going on my iPad too.
She was in earlier, but I think with the cancellation, we probably lost our opportunity to have her on the show. Well, it's all right. We'll pin those two down next time we got them on.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, cool. That is awesome. Well,
it was the 80s. Everybody had big hair, Edwin.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody, that was some great hair.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's for sure.
And the shoulder pads.
You had to have shoulder pads, and fringe, and spandex. Yes.
We didn't have that. It was just kind of
a lot of hair, huh? Awesome. Well, all right, guys. Well, I guess in the spirit of moving things along, I'm looking at the chat here, and I thought I'd open it up, and we could do Q&A. And as long as people either want to have questions or want to bring topics up, kind of do an open mic here, so to speak, for a few minutes, and we'll go as long as it makes sense. What do you think?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Converting, you think? So Vein 20 tone. That's a new one. What's the odds of a sideshow waitlist converting, do you think? Catwoman EX, I just got on the wait list. What do you think?
That's a tough one. I mean, he's talking about the last Catwoman. That one, some people are still waiting for that to ship, I think.
Yeah, it's been on pre-order.
Yeah, I mean, I've had mine forever.
Yeah, me too.
But some people, I think, are still waiting for a new batch.
I was just going to ask you if that one shipped in batches, because that seems like a pretty consistent new approach that they're taking too.
Yeah, and I would assume that's probably the collector's edition. So I personally think that it's probably pretty low chance at this point to get an exclusive of that one. It's actually a really popular piece.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
If I really was heart set on it, I would keep an eye on the buy-sell trades. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. And especially when the new one comes out, because usually the previous models start unloading.
True. Yeah. And both portraits are really nice on that one, so the collector's edition's fine. I agree. Yeah. Yep. I guess it depends if you want that, if you really have to have that animated series look. Yeah. Which, in all honesty, that's my preferred portrait. But so is that the goggles one? No, that's not the goggles one. Oh, okay. All right. I got the goggles one on right now. I love them both. One of the things that's great about that statue too, it's got a really relatively unique form factor in that it is extremely small footprint. Big time. It has a nice presence still to it.
but it's just really unique footprint and pose where she's seated is really cool.
Yeah, in fact, all three of those, the Ivy and the Harley Hell on Wheels and her, they're all very vertical.
Yeah.
They go together really well.
They really, really do.
I always said they looked like a girl group that Prince would have produced in the 80s.
Yeah,
like Vanity 6.
Yep. No, they're awesome. So that's cool. Let's see what else we got.
Well, Nathan wants to know what we think about the new Justice League Jared Leto Joker by Weta.
Yeah,
I think it's a gamble. I think I said this to Chris on Facebook yesterday because he kind of asked the same question. Awful short screen time for that character in an after credits scene, not even in the actual film.
Yeah.
So you really got to like that new interpretation of Jared Leto Joker to want that piece, I think.
Yeah, that's certainly one big element of that piece is, I think if you've got a good quarter scale Justice League kind of collection going, it probably would be a neat little piece to add. Although neat little at $895.
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but there was some talk when in Chris's post on this topic earlier today that I chimed in where, Chris talked about the, how important is the fact that it's traditionally sculpted, to have any weight in your decision. And I don't know, I think there's no less artistic importance or integrity in digital sculpting than there is in traditional in my mind. It's just two different mediums for getting to the same end. And I think it's all about what do you appreciate in the art, and what style is it? For me, you can almost immediately tell. When I saw that piece before I knew it was traditionally sculpted, I kind of looked at it like that either didn't look quite right to me. And it does. I think traditionally sculpted looks different than digitally sculpted these days. And I think for me, it's mostly in the textures. But that doesn't weigh in my decision at all. To me, it's more the aesthetic of the piece and does it match my taste, kind of thing.
Right.
I think it looks good. I mean, it's pretty cool. If I had, like I said, quarter scale Justice League, I'd add it. I thought it looked pretty good.
Some folks are going all in on that Weta Justice League quarter scale line. It'd be nice to know, are they going to do a Gal Gadot Wonder Woman? Are they going to do a regular Affleck Batman as opposed to the Nightmare Batman? But I'm not. I think it's a nice statue that Joker, but I'm not drawn to buy it.
No. Yeah. It's not it doesn't look close enough to me for the price they're charging.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. We got a question. El Loco 1527 asked the first statue each of us bought and why. I can take that one, I guess, first.
Yeah, go ahead.
My first kind of contemporary statue in this realm. Well, actually, let me take a step back. My first statue I ever bought for a collection was a T-Rex head. So actually, this is kind of a funny 1-minute story. So some of you may know in the chat, I've talked about it before in a couple of my videos, that I have a small kind of Spielberg collection. I'm a big fan of Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones and those things. I have them in a separate part of my house. But I had some movie props, some original movie props from the original Jurassic Park film. I had a couple of Indiana Jones props, and I wanted a piece to put on the wall. And I walked into, and this is, I think, in the late 90s. So at one time, the Discovery Channel had opened retail stores in malls, and they had a television series at the time called Walking with Dinosaurs, and they were promoting the TV series, and they had a T-Rex sculpted bust I don't know what scale it is, but it's over 2 feet long off the wall, and it's you got his arms and the head, and it wasn't for sale. It was a promotional piece, but the store was closing, and I asked the manager was behind the counter, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, would you sell that thing?" And he said, "Well, we hadn't thought about it, but we're closing the store." And he goes, "I think we could sell that $80."
Nice.
Holy crap.
Nice.
And I have it to this day, and I'm sure you guys will see it in an upcoming video. But yeah, I love that thing. It's awesome, and $80, and that was my first statue. But
Wow.
Without going into a story, my first kind of contemporary statue, if you will, in this realm is the OG Sideshow Batman. And that was 2013.
With the big old heavy cape.
The big old heavy cape, and that thing is a top heavy statue, man.
Big time.
Yep. That was
How about you, Jeff?
Well, I'm trying to think. Years ago, I had some Star Wars stuff, and I bought, and I still have it, Gentle Giant's Scout Trooper with the speeder bike. I don't know what the scale was on that. They're not very big, but it's, because it looks like it's floating because he pegs in and then the bike keys into him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool. The first modern one was the Iron Studios Captain America from Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Iron Studios. Yeah, that's a great piece too. What year do you think that was, Jeff? Was that long ago?
No.
I'm trying to think. I had a couple of those pieces, and they go back a few. That's 2016, maybe
3, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Those are great, and those are I think those are highly collected right now.
Yeah. I just sold all of mine.
Yeah, that was a beautiful diorama.
Really, couple days.
Yeah, I have no doubt. But very cool. Well, Mr. Delaney. I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Golden Age Batman. I have no idea what year I bought him. Still have him. But I didn't consider myself a statue collector till I bought a quarter scale.
Yeah.
Which was the first Sideshow Batgirl.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So we're trying to think, when would that one have come out? Do you know roughly? Sideshow Batgirl?
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I didn't start a YouTube channel until, I can't talk about that. It's a custom. But a certain Superman piece came out that I bought. And that's when I started the YouTube channel. And my first video was absolutely awful. I did it in portrait mode. It's really dark. I made every single mistake possible.
Wow.
Hey, you got to learn somehow, man.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're all glad you did. All right, next question from Carl Nordstrom. What's everyone's guilty pleasure movie? And let's keep it clean.
That's hard. Guilty pleasure movie.
Guilty pleasure movie.
Wow.
Guilty pleasure movie.
Guilty pleasure. Yeah, we're gonna need
I have a lot of favorite movies, but I don't know.
So it's got to be a crappy movie that we really like. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I've got mine. I'll chime in with mine.
Go for it.
It's not exactly a cinematic classic, but I am a fan of. I grew up, and you guys may have too. Actually, on Saturdays there used to be a thing called Creature Double Feature, and they used to run these old. I know Jeff Morris loves old movies. I loved watching that. My dad and I, if we were home on a Saturday, lunchtime for whatever reason, we'd watch that. Loved it. So I love these old monster movies, and so some of the B monster movies that come out even. In recent years, some of them just, I don't know, I think they're fun. So one of my guilty pleasure, I like the movie Lake Placid, about a giant alligator living in a lake in Vermont.
Betty White is.
That's right, Betty White. Exactly. Yep. And I think that movie's a ton of fun. That's a guilty pleasure for me. I will watch that from time to time. Yep.
I'm having a really hard time with this one.
Uh-oh.
I can't think of anything.
Well, I'll go.
Okay.
What's a bad one that I think, and I'll pop it on every now and then because I still hang on to my DVDs. Them. It's a black and white movie with James Arness, Stuart Whitman, about these giant ants.
Gotta love giant insect movies. That's awesome.
That was one that we had Shock Theater.
Okay.
On Saturdays.
Yeah.
And you had to get the antenna looking
Yep.
just right.
Oh, yeah.
So if the wind blew, it was all over.
Yep.
So,
Creature Double Feature was the same way. It was on a UHF channel. And so you had to use the antenna to tune it in. So wow, we are really dating ourselves. Yes.
so that's where I first saw movies like that.
Yep.
The Hammer movies with Christopher Lee,
Yep.
Peter Cushing, and the Universal classic monsters.
Yep. Man, Christopher Lee, there's a creepy dude. Yep.
Yeah, that new PF of both of them.
Yep. Yeah, they're good. They are good. Yep. Yep.
So I have one kind of,
Okay.
but I haven't seen it in 30 years. So anyway, I used to work in a strip mall when I was.
I thought you were going to say strip club.
Yeah, it was a strip mall from when I was 16 till 22.
Okay.
And there was a movie theater in the strip mall. And I got off work at 9:30 every night. And my buddy worked in the theater. And do you remember the movie Porky's?
Yeah.
So Porky's played in that theater for like 4 months. They just wouldn't let it go.
That tells you a lot about how popular that movie was.
Yep.
I would walk over after work. He'd give me free popcorn. He'd let me into the movie for free. And
Oh wow.
I'd watch Porky's and eat popcorn.
Oh my God.
I probably saw it 20 times in that 4-month period.
Oh my God.
But it's been a long time since I've watched it.
Porky.
That is probably one of the earliest Kim Cattrall movies.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember seeing that in the drive-in. That was a big hit at the
That
time.
was
Oh,
a
yeah,
huge
it
hit.
was.
Yeah.
That movie would never be made today.
Nope. There's a lot
I'm
like that.
surprised they could ever show that.
All right. From Porky's, and we can only go up. So Ben Hizzle, what collectible do you regret selling the most?
That's easy for me.
Okay.
I sold my Superman #1 at the wrong time.
I was just telling my wife that story, Jeff, after we visited with you guys.
It is probably worth 5 times now what I sold it for.
Yep.
And I should have kept it.
Wow.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
That credit card needed to be paid. So
Yeah. You gotta pay the bills, man.
yeah. How about you guys?
I know. So I was just mentioning, not a statue, but I'm very fortunate in that I really don't have one that I can say, oh, wow, I really regret. But I mentioned to you my Indiana Jones, Spielberg kind of collection. I had the company, or the shop, I should say, that made the fedoras for Indiana Jones as a shop in London called Herbert Johnson. And it was Herbert Johnson, and Herbert Johnson, the man, was the proprietor of the shop until not that long ago. And I ordered a fedora. He kept the hat molds that he used for the films. And you could order a fedora made on those molds with the same felts, the whole bit, made by Herbert Johnson. And I ordered one of those. And this was many moons ago. This is back in the 90s. I was, not exactly, making a ton of money or anything. And so this was at the time was $300. And I decided to part ways with it. Similarly, you got to pay the bills, credit card bills coming in, you got to pay the bills. And I sold my Herbert Johnson fedora. And I learned that not too long ago, he's passed away now, and you can't get that anymore. And I wish I had that back, because it was identical to the initial, the very first Indiana Jones fedora made by the man, and the whole bit. So I deeply regret selling that. I wish I had it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. But things happen.
Sure.
What about you, Mr. Morris?
I don't know. I wonder if I'm going to regret selling those Civil War pieces.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's only so much room and so much money. So you got to move this stuff on.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes it happens like that. I've had pieces that stay for a long time. And, you know, over the past 5-6 years, I've had pieces that don't stay long at all. It's kind of funny how it works. It kind of depends too on what comes out, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. The new stuff gets so tempting, and, you know, all of those pieces took up so much room. So.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, interesting. Oh, that's going to have me thinking about that fedora now tonight. That one really bugs me. I do have a couple of other indie collectibles though that are still. I have a Wested. I have a jacket made by the man who made the leather jackets.
Nice.
Which is really cool. Yeah. So I've got a few indie collectibles. I have. What else do I have? I've got a couple of the Beatles used for when they were eating beetles in the Temple of Doom scene.
Oh wow! Yeah,
a couple of those. So yeah, that was a fun hobby. That's a little bit too pricey to stay in though. That's a big money hobby. Yeah. And
is authentication really hard?
I always went with very kind of high end shops. Mm-hmm. So London Prop Store was one of the biggest ones that if I was going to buy something, I went through them, and they had all the provenance and all that. And so you had to kind of go with, you know, most of the time it's auction companies that have these, and they'll either sell them at a fixed price or auction them. And I tended to go with them because I just didn't trust anybody else. But I got rid of. I had props from other movies too. I've since gotten rid of. I've got a few things here and there left, but I've got a torch used in The Mummy.
Nice.
A big fan. That's a guilty pleasure movie, the first Mummy movie. But anyways, Dark Ranger saying, hope the new indie movie is better than Crystal Skull. I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad, but I still like it.
Yeah.
I'm easily entertained. I am a big fan of bad movies.
Yeah.
I can tell you one of the worst ones that's really embarrassing for me to watch because I just love it, how bad it is. Showgirls.
Oh, really? Yeah, that is a bad movie.
That is so bad. But
that is a bad movie.
That's a great one to watch. It's like you don't even have to think about it, but there's some great lines in that movie.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's filming now, isn't it? The new Raiders.
I
think it had started.
I think they're in. Yeah, they are. They're in production.
He got hurt.
Yeah, they had to pause.
Pictures of him in London.
Yeah, yeah. Vane 20 Tone saying, I thought the fedora was in your collection you had as a featured collector. I do have an indie fedora still in my collection, but it's not that one. It's a different one, different hat. So you probably did see one, but it doesn't have the provenance of that other one. So,
what do you think? I don't know how long he could keep doing them.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on the storyline. I think
I think they're going to have to bring somebody else in to hand it over to or something.
Yeah. He's 80, I think, isn't he?
He's 80, yeah. Yep. So
that's getting up there for an action star.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, even if you're healthy and active in the whole bit, to pull off that movie with that physicality, I don't know how he does that, but
yeah.
But I kind of thought, and now that he's Star-Lord, I don't know if they'll do it, but I kind of thought Chris Pratt would be a potentially good choice for the role.
Yeah,
but
I'd heard that kicked around.
Yeah, he's got that sense of humor that I think is a good fit,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But anyway, all right, boys. Well, I think I'm looking here. I think we burned through our questions for this evening. Anything else you guys want to throw in before we?
Just good luck to Chris tomorrow. Hope everything goes incredibly well.
Yep, for sure. Yep, I'm sure he will pull through with flying colors. So we'll look forward to seeing him back on the next show. I know we've talked about. I think we have an auction show at some point soon that Chris was talking about. We've got a few different show ideas, actually, guys, that we're looking at rolling out here in the next few months. So stay tuned for those. I'm sure Chris, if not under anesthesia, will be online and in the Brotherhood of the Bat Facebook group, so you can see him there and all of us as well. Encourage everybody to check out Jeff Delaney and the Secret Sanctuary. And what do you have coming up on your channel, Jeff? Anything?
Well, I have Mando here. He'll probably be this weekend.
Okay.
And then next month will be Thor and probably Deadpool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to those videos, and we'll see you guys in the chats on the Facebook groups, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you again for everybody for joining us in the chat. Really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Apologies again for the technical difficulties. We will be better, but we'll see you all next time. So everybody, take care and have a good evening.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Take care.